What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to today's video. It isn't really going to be a news video. It's more an opinion piece today. And I want to speak about the midfield situation. Obviously, yesterday, we know that Thiago went down with what looks like a hamstring injury. We're not sure as of yet exactly how long he'll be out for. But we did get somewhat of an open-ended answer from Jurgen Klopp when asked about whether we dip our toes in the transfer market before the window closes on September the 2nd. Today, though, James Pearce has written a piece for The Athletic, and I'm just going to read you his tweet that kind of summarises the situation and ask you guys for your opinion on it, as I will, of course, give you mine as well. As always, though, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section. Do drop a like on the video for us, and of course, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. So this is what James Pearce has had to say. He said, the debate over Klopp's midfield options intensified with Thiago's latest setback. Liverpool's plan was to sit tight until 2023 before reinforcing that area of the squad, but they may need to think again. We do need to think again. Look, I love the players that we have at the football club, but I've been saying all summer, even before our injuries, we need to add another midfielder. And I think deep down Jurgen Klopp believes that as well. Other words, there's no reasoning as to why he would have looked to bring in Arlian Tchouameni before he made the decision, obviously, to move to Real Madrid. We all know who the preferred target is. We know who the numero uno is. But we also, at least those of us who are rational, believe that this summer it's unlikely that Borussia Dortmund would sell Jude Bellingham. Whether Liverpool test that resolve or not, that remains to be seen, and I hope that we do. But it is fair that we should have a conversation around potential options out there in the market that Jurgen Klopp could look at. Now, there are options ranging, of course, from the realistic to the downright ludicrous, and I want to know who your choice would be in the comment section. It is very difficult because we don't know what potential budget we'd be working with in the market. And here's my, I don't want to say my worry, but it is a bit of a concern. If Liverpool feel they need to reinforce in midfield, we know that Jurgen Klopp doesn't like short-term solutions. He likes to look for somebody who will have a role to play even when the boys come back from injury. So if that's the case, I hope that there isn't another option that they push for in the Bellingham bracket, and by that I mean a top tier player. So I hope whoever we do bring in, if we do bring somebody in, it's to complement when Jude Bellingham arrives next summer. So that's my little worry, but I want to know what you guys think. I'm going to run through an option or two in my head now. Let's start with the obvious one, Barella. He's somebody who Inter Milan would loathe to lose. He's somebody who Antonio Conte has rumoured to be looking to bring to Spurs. And he's somebody who would certainly grace any midfield. I don't know what wages he's on at Inter Milan. So that's why I would rule out the likes of a Frankie de Jong, because we know that Manchester United have been linked with him for €85 million, and then we've seen reports that Manchester United would be willing to pay him more than Ronaldo's on, which would mean he's in upwards of £500,000 a week. Liverpool aren't going to pay that money to somebody coming straight into the club. We've just about paid Mohamed Salah what could get him to sign a new deal. So we can rule out Frankie de Jong, I believe, because we wouldn't pay it, we wouldn't pay his wages. Barella, is it realistic? I don't know, but he'd probably be the one that I'd like to see us go out there and get. I think he's an Inter Milan boy through and through, and I'm not sure, but so I'm fairly sure one of you guys told me he was made Inter Milan captain for this season. So if we move on to other options, well, who is there out there in the market? I said all summer I wouldn't have minded Liverpool going in for somebody like Yves Bissouma before he went to Spurs. Then there's the likes of Yuri Tielemans. Is he a good enough fit? I would probably say no. I had seen him linked to Arsenal in recent weeks. And more of the reason I'm saying no is I don't think he's the style of midfielder that we'd look to bring in. We have a creative spark now. We've two, actually, in Harvey Elliott and in Fabio Carvalho, albeit it looks like Carvalho will be playing on the left side of an attacking trio when he comes on. At least that's what Klopp has said for his first season. We do believe he'll drop into midfield and moving on after he's settled in. So look, where are we? Fabinho is fit and available. That's good news. Do we have a backup to him? Not really. Jordan Henderson can step in and play in the six, and he can do it very well. But I found it odd that we did loan out Tyler Morton, because he's somebody to me that hasn't looked out of place when he stepped up and played for us. Somebody who can play in the 6 or the 8. We do, of course, have Bajcetic as well, but it's a lot to be asking of a 17-year-old kid to step up the first team football, particularly in that area of the pitch. So who else is there? Somebody said to me, Mateo Kovacic from Chelsea. When I say somebody, I mean somebody in our chat, not somebody who suggested that we're about to put in a bid for him. And look, he'd fit in nicely. but I don't think Chelsea will be willing to sell Mateo Kovacic to us, but he would do a very good job. Then there's the kind of optimistic ones, like Varady was an option somebody mentioned, and I know he's been linked with another Premier League club today. For me, Marco Varadi's a dream signing for any team. He's been a player I would have loved to have brought into Liverpool, but he has injury concerns, and we don't want to be bringing in another midfield option who may be a little bit injury prone. So as good as he is, and as much as the talent is there, I would have my doubts about Liverpool bringing him in. So then who else is there? Well, there are some bargains still to be had. Sangar has signed a new deal with PSV Eindhoven. Does that necessarily rule him out of a move? Not sure. Definitely strengthens Eindhoven's hand. Looking around Europe then as well at other options. One to keep an eye on, although I say this knowing full well what most likely will happen. But we do know that Gavi is still unsigned to his new Barcelona deal. And as much as I truly believe that Barcelona is the best place for Gavi to continue his development, I don't know. Is it worth testing the resolve? Is it worth maybe trying to do something there? But again, we're talking about a really, really young guy who hasn't really developed physically enough yet for the Premier League for me, and I think he should stay at Barca. Then we've missed out on others like Gravenberch, who of course went to Bayern Munich. He would have been another option that I would have been happy with Liverpool to look at. So that kind of leads me around in a circle to the name that's been doing the rounds for all of this transfer window. And although most of the links have come from the Portuguese side, is there any truth to Mateus Nunes, or Mateus Nunes? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I spoke to you guys the other day and said Abel Xavier had been speaking about the fact that the player is most likely destined for a move to the Premier League. He said, Xavier, that he's got good contacts at Liverpool. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but I don't know if that means that he knows something we don't know. I've not seen anything from any of the English-based journalists to suggest there's any truth to the links from both Manchester City and Liverpool to Mateus Nunes from Sporting. But, again, good player, can play in a 6 or an 8, and does kind of tick the boxes of what we'd be looking for. So it's a kind of open-ended video, this, because I'm not here to throw names at you. I'm more here to ask for suggestions from you about what type of budget you think we might work with if we go for a midfielder, and who you think we should be looking at. Other names that have been doing the rounds are, of course, Valverde at Real Madrid. There was one piece that said Klopp was obsessed with the idea of signing him. So will he test Real Madrid's resolve there? Other ones, particularly a couple from Italy, is it Benasser from AC Milan? I'm not sure if I've pronounced his name correctly. His name has been linked in the past 48 hours. And then if we go back to midweek, I told you guys that there were links in Italy suggesting that Jurgen Klopp was very interested in bringing Inter Milan's Hakan Çalhanoğlu over to Anfield. Again, I've got no idea if there's any truth to these or if there isn't. But I hope that you all agree with me at least on one thing, that we do need to add midfield depth. Even just from midfield alone, we've got injuries, but then you look right across. So to the best of my knowledge, we've got Calvin Ramsey injured, Kevin Kelleher injured, Cade Gordon injured, Curtis Jones injured, Diogo Jota injured, Thiago injured, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain injured, Naby Keita ill. And that's just off the top of my head. So I think we need a midfielder. And I think I hope Jurgen Klopp is coming around to the idea that we need a midfielder. And I hope that FSG, if he goes to them and says, I want a new midfielder, that they back him. So look, let me know your thoughts. Let me know how optimistic or pessimistic you are. And again, wasn't a great result yesterday. We didn't get off to a good start. We need to be better against Crystal Palace. We've got 2 Monday games back-to-back coming up now. Crystal Palace and then Manchester United. The same Manchester United, by the way, who lost at home today to kick off the Eric Ten Hag revolution at Old Trafford with a 2-1 loss to Brighton. So there is that to cheer me up a little bit. Look, my friends, I will talk to you same time, same blah 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 blah. I'll talk to you same time, same place tomorrow. Apologies, I'm tripping over my words here. Really tired. Talk to you then. Bye bye. Take care.